Okay, before I start the review, just a couple quick notes. My neighbors have been taking down some dead trees that are in their backyard, and obviously that could create some noise, some additional noise that might pop up. It looked like they were pretty much done when I got back from the theater, but you never know. You could hear like a chainsaw going off at some point. Also, a few minutes into the film proper, I lost my pen. I did eventually get it back, but that sort of resulted in me having to piece together this film a lot from memory. So there might be some chunks missing. Hopefully that won't interfere too much. Okay, so here we are with Wonder Woman. Obviously, got out of the theater, give or take about more than half an hour ago. Again, I had to retake some of these notes. Basically, as the film starts, Diana is in London, I think, and she's doing some works, and this package arrives from Wayne Enterprises, and it's the original proof from the original photo plate from the picture you saw if you saw Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, where it's Diana in World War I with Steve Trevor and a few other people. Anyway, this kind of basically there's a message from Bruce saying maybe you can eventually tell me the story behind this, and this kind of causes Diana to flash back to her history. You see her growing up on Themyscira a little bit. She wants to train as an Amazon, but her mother Hippolyta forbids it. So she starts secretly training with her aunt Antiope. Along the way, Diana sort of glorifies war in her mind, like she thinks war is this kind of grand thing, and Hippolyta desperately tries to poo-poo it as much as she can. Obviously, if you've seen the trailers, Diana has some hidden power where she can block something with her gauntlets, and it causes a sort of explosive blast back. It happens while training, and she accidentally injures Artemis. Diana kind of flips out a little bit and runs off. Not too long after this happens, Steve Trevor's plane crashes just off the coast of Themyscira, and Diana rescues Steve, but turns out Steve's being pursued by some German soldiers. The German soldiers make landfall and begin fighting with the Amazons. The Amazons do pretty well, but the German soldiers have guns with bullets, and that kills several Amazons, including Antiope. Basically, Steve Trevor tells the Amazons about a general named Ludendorff and his protege, Dr. Poison. That's Danny Houston and Leia Naya as Dr. Poison. Poison has developed sort of a super mustard gas that's hydrogen instead of sulfur based, and it could basically just kill all life within an instant. Excuse me. And because of Ludendorff's ruthlessness, Diana and several other Amazons believe Ludendorff to be Ares reincarnate. Basically, the backstory is Ares declared war on the gods by attacking both gods and man. He killed all the gods except for Zeus, who delivered a massive blow that wound up killing Zeus in the process, and basically sending Ares back to Earth, where he was... I'm not entirely sure if he was mortal in the strictest sense of the term, but yeah, he was basically stripped of a lot of his powers. But with his kind of dying breath, Zeus allowed Hippolyta to mold Diana out of clay and imbue that clay with life so that she would, like I said, yeah. And he also gave them a sword, the God Killer sword, should Ares return. Diana takes it basically upon herself to accompany Steve back to London. She takes the arm, she takes Amazonian armor, the Wonder Woman costume, she takes the Lariat of Truth, and the God Killer sword. And she also takes Antiope's tiara. The Wonder Woman's tiara comes from Antiope. Basically, they get to London, some shenanigans ensue, she meets up with Etta Candy. Steve reports to his superiors. The way Steve stole Dr. Poison's notebook, and he sort of shows it's like, hey, the Germans are still planning something, the armistice talks are still going on. They might not be fully in on this, or Ludendorff might be acting on his own. We need to stop this. Steve's superiors say, just stay out of this, don't interfere with the armistice. But Steve takes it upon himself to join with Diana and form a little black ops team. There's a sniper from Scotland there's a Native American, and there's a Middle Eastern man. I hesitate to say Arab because I'm not entirely sure where he's from. Anyway, they basically sneak into Belgium, which is where Ludendorff and Dr. Poison are headquartered. Ludendorff is basically planning a massive gas attack at this gala. Wonder Woman sneaks into the gala and she starts trying to... she contacts Ludendorff basically. She makes some references to Ares. Something else I didn't mention, like Dr. Poison developed this special gas that basically gives Ludendorff superpowers very, very, very briefly, and it's sort that again it sort of lends to the idea of Ludendorff being Ares. Eventually, Wonder Woman faces Ludendorff and kills him, but Ludendorff is not actually Ares. It turns out Ares is actually Lord Morgan, played by David Thewlis, who is the guy who's kind of behind the Black Ops team, who basically gave the okay for Steve Trevor to do this. And Ares reveals that the sword is not the God Killer, Diana is. And kind of, there's been a lot of theory throughout this. I mean, I think a lot of people have pieced together because of the whole war motif that Ares was going to be the big bad in all of this. But they didn't. There's also some allusions throughout this. Diana's hidden powers, and Hippolyta saying that Diana can never know what the truth. Basically, the truth is, Diana is the God Killer, not the sword. Only a god can kill a god. Diana is the daughter of Zeus, which is funny because again, through this whole thing, they've been kind of leading to Diana being the daughter of Ares. But instead they decided that the last gift that Zeus gave Hippolyta was a daughter. Eventually, like I said, there's a massive, another gas attack being applied for London. There's some gas that's on a plane. Basically, Steve sacrifices himself to destroy the plane and stop the gas attack on London. Diana starts fighting Ares. She's irate. She's angry. She's just beating him. At one point, she encounters Dr. Poison. And she starts, and Ares is like, yes, kill her. You'll do the right thing because man is not deserving of... Sorry, I had a phone call from someone. I don't know who. Anyway, let's see. Ares says that man is not deserving of the earth. He wants to cleanse it and return it back to its former glory. And Diana basically has realized throughout all of this, as I said earlier in the film, she was glorifying war as a child, and Hippolyta was poo-pooing it, saying, no, you don't know what war really is. War is not glamorous. It's not fun. It's not a game. And sort of through it all, she's sort of understanding that, people do bad things in war, but not all people are bad because of war. War does not make all people bad. And so she learns to show mercy. She does not kill Dr. Poison. She actually is able to channel Ares' power back at him. And she realizes that the way to change the world is not through war, but through love. Yeah, a little bit cheesy line at the end. And then we kind of return to the present, and Diana dons the Wonder Woman costume again due to an emergency breaking out. And you see her going off to fight evil. There's no post-credit scene. Bit of a disappointment there. Again, we had a post-credit scene. I try to remember. It's been a while since I've seen Dawn of Justice. We had one in Dawn of Justice. We had one in Suicide Squad. We're building towards Justice League. That's the next movie. Yeah, we did get a post-credit scene. But that's really kind of a minor nitpick. This was really good. This is better. This is the best of the DC movies, really. I don't think that's an understatement. I know that's been the whole critical consensus going into this. It's fun. It's fun at the right points. The action sequences are tightly directed. They're not all herky-jerky and out of place. There's a little bit of that slow motion into the fast motion bits, but other than that, not too terrible. Diana is a well-rounded character. You kind of get the idea that she's learning about the world through this. There are scenes where they're entering Europe, the European front for during World War I, and she's seeing the reality of what's going on. That Steve says, "Listen, we have to focus on the mission. Like, I know what you're seeing is bad, and it's nice to want to help them, but the way we help them is by sticking to this mission." And she sort of construes that to be bad. In fact, after she kills Ludendorff, she expects, because she thinks he's Ares, that this is going to be the end of everything. And Steve basically says, no, exactly. Like, maybe it is Ares, maybe he wasn't, but that's not going to be the end of this. There, exactly. It's not going to magically stop all weapons being made. So yeah, she has a good arc. Chris Pine is really good as Steve Trevor. He's not really like wisecracky. He's a little wisecracky at some points, but really he doesn't. He's not. If I may compare this, there was the Wonder Woman animated movie that went straight to DVD and Blu-ray. They basically kind of took a bit of that and transposed it to World War I, except Nathan Fillion was Steve Trevor in that. He's not, like I said, he's not wisecracky. In that animated movie, there's this scene where the Amazons are interrogating Steve, and he's basically flirting with Diana the whole time. None of that really happens. Like, he tries to sort of, Diana's sort of fish out of water, and he tries to sort of explain things like, no, look, you're made for war right now, but that's not really appropriate for every day. What you're wearing right now is not appropriate for everyday wear. You're practically naked. Anyway, like I said, Steve Trevor's good. David Thewlis is pretty good as the reveal for Ares, because, Ludendorff and the problem is, Wonder Woman does not have like a great rogues gallery. She doesn't have like a Batman or a Spider-Man like rogues gallery where this movie could be this character and this movie could be this character. So, the villains are kind of downplayed. And a lot like many of the Marvel movies, where a lot of if you look at the Iron Man movies and even the Captain America movies, the villains are really downplayed in all of those. Basically because neither of them really have great rogues galleries, much like Wonder Woman. Whereas with Batman, it's like, this is the Joker movie, and this is the Penguin movie, and this is the Catwoman movie. You're not really getting that here. Wonder Woman's most prominent villains are probably Giganta and Cheetah, and that's really only because they were on the Super Friends. Anyway, sorry, gone off on a tangent there. Like I said, great movie. This is getting an A. Okay, now trailers. First off, we have Transformers: The Last Night. Obviously, if you know that I'm doing the Transformers movie retrospective, I've got everything for that shot, everything for that recorded. I just have to mix them together. Cars 3, that'll be the next movie review. Luc Besson's Valerian, which I believe is based... I know it's based on a graphic novel. I believe it's... I think it's Mobius who did Valerian. I may be wrong on that. Spider-Man Homecoming. I think this is the first time I've gotten a Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. I don't know if there was... it's been a while since I've seen any of them. After that, we have Despicable Me 3 again, and last but not least, we have Justice League, which seems to be a little more rock and roll than a lot of the other DC movies have been. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily Wonder Woman wasn't really as upbeat, but it was definitely the most upbeat of the DC movies. But this one, they do seem to be having a little bit of fun. Aquaman actually seems to look like a pretty interesting character in these. I do have to wonder how that's going to shake out. Okay, so like I said, next movie review will be Cars 3. I am just about finished doing the initial read-through for the next random trade review on the Battle Chasers collection, which will be interesting to talk about that. And obviously the next video is going to be the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, and that'll be up on Monday, so see you all then.